So here's a tip for the beginner students. I was talking to one of my students yesterday and he told me that anytime that he takes the mount position and he tries to attack his opponent, he ends up losing the position, okay? He feels pressured that he has to do something, he has to attack, and then he ends up giving up the position. So most important thing here is, especially if you're a beginner, for the first few months, work on your control, controlling your opponent, learning how to pin him down, making it difficult for him to escape, okay? That's the priority number one. If it's hard to escape, if he's having trouble escaping, then he will end up giving you something in order to escape. He will overextend his arm, he will expose his neck, he will give you an opportunity to attack him, okay? So, learning how to establish good control in the dominant positions, in the three most dominant, especially mount, side control, and back, being able to stay there for the duration of the round. You don't have to attack him in the first few months. Just develop your control, okay? Let him try to escape, pin him down. If you lose the position, maybe transition to another one. For example, you were on the mount and you're starting to lose the mount, maybe go to his back if he turns to his side. Maybe you go to side control, free your legs if he's trying to pull half guard, right? Transition from top, dominant positions, establish that control, and then eventually the submissions are going to be much easier to hit because he's going to be so desperate trying to escape that he will end up giving something to you, okay? Another important element is not just the control, because if you go against someone who is more experienced, he will be able to stay there comfortably and relaxing under a bad position, okay? So just the control is not enough against a more experienced guy. You have to make it uncomfortable, okay? It's so uncomfortable that if he doesn't move, he will eventually tap out because it's maybe too much pressure. Maybe you have a cross face that's too nasty and it's turning his neck and his head away. You have to add a degree of discomfort to force him to move, okay? And again, once he moves, then you capitalize on that. And the more you stay in that position, the more you start messing up with his mind, with his mindset. He starts panicking, he starts feeling claustrophobic. So it's important to not rush. You don't have to rush. You don't have to go for a move just because you got into that dominant position, okay? Wait a little bit. Let your opponent try to escape. Spend some energy first, right? Then it's much easier to attack him when he's already exhausted and panicking, all right? So those are important tips for the beginners. No rush. Sometimes doing nothing is better than doing something. Stay there, cook him a little bit, make it uncomfortable for him, and when he starts panicking and moving and doing big moves, a big bridge, overextending his arm, exposing his neck, then you go for the submission, okay? It's much easier to attack him when he's giving to you than trying to force, okay? Now, once you get more experienced and your control is already good enough, then you can start forcing a submission a little more, okay? Because in order to attack your opponent, you have to give up some control anyways, okay? You cannot be so tight that you cannot move anymore, right? So in order to attack, you have to move anyways. You have to give up some control. Move your legs, move your arms a little bit. And the more experienced you are, the little or the least control you're giving up. That's the balance that you have to strike there. So a more experienced guy, once you get more experienced, then you can force a little more the submissions, okay? Because your control is so good already. You already know that you're giving up just a little bit of control and it's not gonna be enough for your opponent to escape. All right, but in the beginning, cook him, let him try to escape, let him expose himself, and then you capitalize on that. All right? Hope you guys like it.